From the moment we're born, it seems like everyone is telling us what to do, how to behave, and what decisions to make. We all grow up feeling a certain amount of pressure to conform. We want to prioritize ourselves. We want to be able to speak up about what we truly want. But we are afraid of how everyone else will react. Often, any attempt we make to break this cycle and be the way we want to be is met with an uncomfortable feeling, sometimes fear or even criticism. This in turn leads to self-doubt, anxiety, and insecurities. When we worry about other people doing the right thing, or when we expect them to behave a certain way, or when we ourselves are not true to what we really want to do or behave, by all of this, we are being victims of life. We are being victims of other people and their own expectations projected in you.
All you need to do is just be the way you want to be. How do you want to be? That's all.
We can't blame external factors for us not being the best versions of ourselves. We've convinced ourselves through the years that we need something to happen, or someone has to act differently, or behave like we really want to before we can be our authentic selves. So, why do we always hold ourselves back? Why are we not being ourselves, authentic and loving? Making our happiness or emotional health dependent on external things or factors is a fast and easy way to suffer. We need to understand that at the end of the day, everyone around us is trying the best they can with the tools they have, even though it doesn't seem that way. We can't control what everyone else thinks or does or says. So why do we let it bother us? Why are we focused so much on what other people think or say? Why can't we just be ourselves?
Nobody is physically torturing you. They're just doing what they want to do. They're saying what they want to say. Are they just saying just what they know? Isn't it? So, who is causing the mess within you? Yourself.
Not everyone is going to appreciate you for being yourself. But one of the most liberating realizations we can have is that it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. This is also the first step to becoming our true selves. Now, this doesn't mean we shouldn't have any responsibilities towards anyone else. We also need to ask, do my actions infringe on anybody else's freedoms? Does my being myself hurt anybody else? Prioritizing our own needs doesn't give us a free pass to be assholes. We can't decide to deface someone else's property just because it makes us happy. Instead, we need to follow our own instincts and consciousness. We should acknowledge that everybody else is free to take their own path, and everyone has the same values.
You cannot do whatever you want to do, but you can be the way you want to be, isn't it?
So, how do we be who we really want to be? Listen to yourself. Let's face it, who knows you better than you? Who understands your strengths, passions, limitations? Self-reflection is the key to understanding our goals. It helps us internally map who we truly are and what we truly want. But this is easier said than done. The environment we're surrounded by is designed to be distracting. In between social media, new TV shows, and working 5 to 6 days a week, many of us barely get the time to relax, let alone sit in silence, question ideas, and introspect. But when we take time to meditate, journal, or develop useful routines, we're actually doing the most critical task of all. We're facing our fears and really looking inside ourselves.
Everything is cooked up in your head, isn't it, whatever you do? So it's anyway an act. So do you want to do it consciously or do you want to do it compulsively? That's all the choice is.
For instance, so many of us are trained from a young age to associate success with flashy cars, big houses, or branded clothing. But how many of us want this life because it truly makes us happy? And how many want it because it's what society projects as its idea of success? If this is not what you want, why should you feel any additional pressure to follow? Life is too short to compromise ourselves. Speak honestly, without fear. Don't bother about making everybody around you happy. Don't let fear and doubt imprison the real you. Love is your superpower. Don't forget that.
If you act miserable in the heart, you get many things. If you're joyful, maybe you don't get. Isn't it so? So you learn the trick. But what you need to understand is the trick is double-edged. If you're miserable, whatever the hell you get, it doesn't mean anything. If you're joyful, you don't get anything, so who cares?